This is all the, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is all the documentation that I guess you should be knowing, that we have Oracle support. We do have customer connect implementation guides. Are you aware that we have these?
Well, the customer connect. No, this is new to me. This part's new to me.
Okay,
Oracle
so
Cloud. Okay, go ahead.
okay, I'll just give you a brief on what the others are. Cloud documentation is, it gives you an entire book on how to implement a certain module. Everything that you need to know in a book. Okay, though it is not just easy to pick up, it's all theory explaining what each one does. And you need a demo to again go in and work out what they try. This is in case, you know, we have some queries or you have some questions, tips, whether that functionality works or not. You come back and check your cloud documentation. Also, you have a lot of patch notes, wherein every release, the patch upgrades that come in are documented there. So even before you actually have the patch applied to your system, you can be aware of what is about to come, so that you can prepare your client that these changes are going to happen. Or in case you need certain solutions based on these changes, you can decide whether you can wait for the next patch that you that's coming up, so that you know, you can just wait, give it a month, and the solution that you're asking for, Oracle is giving it. Or you can just say that it's coming at a later point of time, or we will not be able to provide this right now, but it's in the future release patches. So this gives you an idea of what is coming up in Oracle too. Customer Connect is like a discussion forum where people who use Oracle or people who like to use Oracle, they go, they have the Oracle account, they just have discussions on maybe solutions that they've come up with, innovative solutions that they've come up with. People like to put it up there. Or if somebody else asks a question on how they've done or achieved certain results, they can people answer to that. So it's a great way to connect with lots of other businesses, see what they're doing, pick up best practices, or put up questions that you might need answers to. Cloud readiness is again a documentation that's talking about the entire cloud, BPM, and a lot of other technical stuff too. Then you have Oracle support, wherein you run into problems, you need Oracle, or there is a bug that is in the system that needs to be resolved, which is over and beyond what you can do, that needs to go to Oracle support. Um, Over and beyond this, we have certification things. Have you done any certifications, at least from a technical perspective? So for the technical, you have OIC, you have integrations, you have digital support. There are lots of other things that technical, it's especially technical side. But when you're coming into functional, you need to be a module owner, and you need to show that you have done work in that certain module. So for that, you have certification per modules. Okay, it's similar to how you've done, except that, you know, this is going to be on the functional side of the questions. So I think you know what certifications are, so I don't need to elaborate on that. So this is the overview of human capital management. When we're talking about this module, this encompasses total, hire to retire. Now take your own experience, right? If you're working with a company, take your own experience, try to relate what you've been through, or what it's an employee life cycle to what I can see here. um, were you new to a company, or have you been working in the same company for a period of time?
I've been with the same company for the last year.
Okay, when was your last recruiting, just changing companies?
And that, yeah, they're calling. Deloitte has made me an offer, and I'm talking to
Awesome.
them.
Awesome.
Yes.
That means you can relate, right? You can relate. So
Yes.
when we talk about a candidate moving into a certain organization, the first thing we start out with is recruiting, right? They
Yes.
have to hire the candidate. So this module, let's say recruiting module, which falls under, there is a huge let's say functional terms that we use like global HR, human resources, workforce rewards, workforce management, talent management, and work life. Okay, these are the broad headings that they fall into. We have to, why we do this is because we have to activate this particular section if we want to activate the recruiting module. If you bought the license, it's not enough, you'll have to go and activate talent management and activate the recruiting module. Okay, so when you go into recruiting, it talks about the multiple steps that an a candidate goes through before getting hired. Okay, once you are recruited and you're given an offer, also can be generated within the system. It's all system maintained where uh, each date and all your process, all your documents are captured within this module. Now if I say module and something is captured here, so when you build your BI and OTBI tables, right, you know that there are module specific tables, that some tables can be pulled in only from certain modules.
Yes.
Yes. So that is where you need to know what table is falling under what module, so that when you need to see where in the interface, the UI, you need to connect this, this is going to help you. So when you have recruiting, post that, the next logical step would be that you're onboarded into the system. On your day of hire, you get an onboarding thing. So this is the second part that's going to help you with the onboarding part, all the tasks that can be done in the system. Okay, so over and beyond, once you're onboarded, over maybe let's say a period of 10 years, there are certain things that you do. It's not like you have the same profile that you have when you are 10 years, or when you've just joined, and post 10 years your professional experience is enriched. You do not have it the same way you started off. So to cover all that, we have the other modules. Now core HCM is the basic base of everything that you have in the system. That means now you when I need to make some certain changes or ensure that you are an employee within the system, I need to have your record encompassing all your details, which says that, this is your job, this is your department, this is where you are located, this is what your salary is, this is your person number, your unique identifier, your person number. Then you need to give which grade you belong to, which, what is your assignment. All these details are going to be captured just here.
Okay.
Okay, so
Mhm.
this is very important because now all the basic actions like transfer, or when you have an assignment change, or when you have something like a promotion, all these actions take place here in this module, which give capture the history of what is happening through you over the period of time. So this is core HCM. Exactly like this, in talent we have something called profile management, which generates your professional profile. Now when we talk about professional, this is all your personal details that you have, your PII number, your citizenship status, your I-9s, everything would be captured here. But when you come to profile, it is going to talk about what are the skills you have, what is it you're bringing onto the table, what is your educational background, and what languages do you know, what licenses and certificates do you hold. You can differentiate it, right? Core HR is talking about a lot of personal data, and profile management is talking about your professional data. So using that professional data, talent is run. Using the core HCM data, all the modules are run. Then we have something called learning. Learning is the L&D department where you go through maybe a lot of skill upgradation, or you go through ethics and compliance. Maybe you go through policy training, you go through behavioral trainings. All that trainings can be captured through learning. We configure the system to automatically assign certain learning to you, and you can complete those. Okay, Then you have career development, goal management, performance management. Now, before I overwhelm you, let me tell you that you do not have to pick up all the modules at the same time. I'm giving you an overview of what you would like and what you're familiar with so that you can start with it. And then once you have picked up one module, then that's when you start moving to the other modules. But basically, the first recommended thing is core HCM, because without that, you might not understand what is happening in the system at all. Then we have goal management, which is talking about setting your goals and priorities for that year. And performance is the performance cycle that is going to happen based on what goals you've set up for that year. So usually goals and performance go together. Then you have, this is all pure HR language when we talk about career development, succession, and talent. The HR decides, there's a 9-box matrix where to put you, whether you are a top performer with a high potential or a medium performer with a medium potential or somewhere like that. There's a 9 grid based on your potential versus your performance. And if you are really good, you've come on the high performance, then you are considered for your succession management. That means you're going to be the go-to person when someone at a top level leaves. You would be the person ready to step in. Okay, then you might also have career development. That's your own thing based on what internal careers are, what the if you want to move jobs right within the company. I'm sorry, within the organization, if you want to move change in scene, just change in scene, if you need something like that, you can always go to career development and look at what your options are. Then during your work life, right, you have do you bill your clients? Do you do the timesheets? Are you aware
Yeah,
of
we do.
time?
Yes, we actually use those. I work for Mastech, and we do. We use time and labor on their.
Okay, okay.
So I enter hours in by the client and that sort of
Oh,
thing.
okay.
Yes.
So, time and labor, we call it OTL, Oracle Time and Labor. That's where you enter your hours. The configuration is again huge because you need to provide for time breaks, you need to provide for lunch breaks, you need to provide what is the work schedule, right? And in case it is for hourly, they have this web clock which allows them to punch in and punch out. So all this is captured in time and labor. And then we have absence management. This looks small, but again, it's a huge thing because absences are different per country, different rules per states. Now, I do know that California has California and Oregon, both of them have completely different or a different set of policies when it comes to absences or any other thing. Um, Usually they have the standby rules that are different from the rest of the country. So you'll have to ensure you set that up only with relation to California employees or Oregon employees. So absence management is going to give you all the balances that you have, your balance for the year, how many absence, how over the time that you've worked with your seniority, what is the kind of absence plans that you're available for. Then you have compensation. When I talk about compensation, it's going to decide what grade and band. It's a salary fitment which decides based on your a lot of professional and your educational background where in the salary brackets you fall in. It only decides where you've fallen. Okay, the payout is done by payroll. Any payment from within the system is done only by the payroll module. No other module does any payments. I mean, the gateways are not linked to any other module except global payroll. You have gateways that you can link with learning in case you want to purchase some learning outside from a third party vendor, but otherwise it's only payroll who does any sort of payments. Okay, so this is again a very sought after module, but if you get into payroll, it's the only module you're going to stick to. It's going to pay you well, but also not allowing you to it's also not going to allow you to sleep. Payroll. Okay, then you have benefits. I'm sure you're familiar with 401k and the specific benefits that you get in US.
Yes.
Yes. So all that is configured here. Any spousal benefits, any even adopted children, or in case you have a lot of other over and beyond your regular salary, you have benefits that can be configured here. You have any deductions or court mandated penalties, any such things can also be deducted from your benefits. This is where you configure all that. The rest are not huge modules as such, but we can use workforce modeling. Directory is given by core. When you buy the core HCM license global HR, you get the workforce directory because it is defining the hierarchy, and it's giving the contact. Now you need to know who you're reporting to, who the person is reporting to, or in case you have some a peer or somebody within the system, you need to see who they are reporting to or what their level is. This directory is going to give you all the details. Modeling predictions are based on every year you have a set of people leaving due to retirements. That's an that's like not inevitable, that's something that is expected. So based on that and your attrition rates that is prevailing currently or from your experience, you have to make budgeting, you'll have to make predictions, you'll have to model your workforce based on how many people you have to hire. We can't wait until a person leaves and then, oh, this person has left, now I need to replace this person. No, it's not going to work like that, because if a position is empty or nobody is occupying or doing that specific work, then your business might come to a halt based on the importance of that position within the system. So you will always have succession management planning in case the person leaves, or if there is no one, this workforce modeling helps you that predict that it needs a succession. So you either do it here or you go to hiring and you ensure someone is there in the pipeline. So this predictions is all mostly on the manpower planning and stuff that goes behind in the HR department. Any questions?
No, not yet. No.
So you're able to connect what HCM module does to your daily activities, at least.
Yes, yes, you're explaining it very well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So again, the last part I forgot is my help desk. Help desk is like the service. Are you familiar with Jira, ServiceNow, any of these?
Familiar with which one? With what? Say it
The
again.
the Jira or ServiceNow.
Jira, yes, Jira. We use Jira all the
Okay.
time. Yes.
Where where we have this tickets, right, they raise in this SRs, at least to Oracle service tickets, where the clients come up, say, I have an issue, this is my ticket, please look into it. That Oracle has come up with its own version. We have something called HR help desk. Okay.
Nice. Yeah. Okay.
So this is new. This is new. A few others are new within this modules. It's not been in the system for ages. There's something called EHS, Employee Health and Safety. Uh, so what that does is it records the incidents that happen within an organization, especially now. If you're working in a factory or Oracle is being implemented in a factory, you need to report any safety or any incident. Even drop oil spill needs to be reported, right? All that needs to be captured along with the place, along with the time, along with who's responsible for that particular action. So all that is, there's also a separate module which is very new, that is not here. We've just implemented that for one of the clients. So EHS is again in demand. I guess you know the overview of what a functional does and a technical does. So as a technical, I think you've done reports and analytics, but have you done the others? Data conversions, fast formulae, extracts?
Normally do. I know if I haven't done any fast formulas. I know that's a
Mm-hmm,
one of the requirements for most
mm-hmm,
clients
mm-hmm.
is you understand the fast formulas.
Yes,
Um,
yes. Okay, so basically, this part is considered technical. So it is again based on the organization. Now, when I worked, I started out with an SME, that was like a small and medium enterprise, where we had to do all this: data conversions, personalizations, security, and workflow approvals, because the technicals do just the fast formulas, extracts, and reports where there is a need to use code. SQL is needed, or any coding language is needed. That's only when we used to go to technical. Otherwise, we were supposed to know how to do data conversions, how to do personalizations, how to basically pull in OTBI reports, security, and workflow approvals. And I thank God that I did work there, because at least I have a better understanding of how the technicals flow into the functional aspect of it. And when we talk about data conversions, it means that when you're bringing legacy data, not all clients start out with Oracle as their first system, right? They might have had um, older systems, a smaller system, or maybe bigger, huge enterprises move from Workday to Oracle to IBM to what was that, AWS. They keep moving these more, they keep moving, what do you get, softwares. Okay, so when you move a software, you need to bring in the entire data from what you had to what is in new system. You just can't start out new, right? You need to bring in your history and continue to use it in a different system, but you need to bring over the data. That is called a data conversion, and it is a huge task, and the most important task that happens with a separate team. Okay, then you have fast formulae and HCM extracts. I'm sure you're familiar with that. Personalization is where you can personalize the look and feel of the system. It includes the theme of how your UI is going to look, the colors, the background images, videos, or whatever you want to add in. You can also personalize each field, saying which field is uh, it needs to be a required field, which field need not be a required field, things like that. Okay, they can be a lot done on this. Again, we do not recommend this unless it is a need there. Okay, not a want, but a need. Okay, um, so then we have reports, we have security. So when we talk about Oracle, right, everything is driven by roles and privileges. You need to have privilege to access every work area and pages within that work area, even buttons within that work area. Everything is driven by privileges and security. Even a list of value that you see within the system needs to be driven by a privilege. So it is very controlled, and it allows you to give only limited access to who needs that access. That's all. Okay, we do that. And security again needs to be in bigger projects. It needs to be by a huge team, a separate team, because this is one of the biggest aspects of an entire implementation. Now you cannot accidentally give access to employees to view somebody else's salary. It's a very big breach, right?
Yes.
um, so things like that need to be taken care of. And any breach, once someone sees it, you cannot make them unsee it, right? So before you release things, this has to be taken care of. Especially there would be audit based on this. Then you have your workflow approvals. When I talk about approvals now, we go through certain processes. Let's say the simplest thing: you need a leave uh, at a certain day. For a leave, you just can't say I'm taking a leave and you go off. You need somebody's approval, maybe a line manager, or if you're going for a leave of absence, you might need the HR's approval for that too, right? So we configure that. Once you raise something in the system saying I need a leave on this day, the flow automatically goes to the manager, or the notification goes to a manager, wherein the manager sees that certain person wants to leave and he can approve it right within the system. Now, if we set it up that if it's only up to a manager, it goes to the manager and your leave is approved. But if it is a leave of absence and you need it for a longer period of time, someone beyond the manager has to approve, then the manager, once the manager approves, it goes to somebody else, maybe the skip level manager or the HR. Once they approve, only then you can see approved status in the employee side. Okay,
Oh,
these are the things that we can configure. Then functional, these are the separate modules that we have. I've already given you an overview. Do you have any questions specific based on the overview of what I told you?
no, you explain things very well. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'll just show you a little of the system, how it looks like. Okay, these are the modules, the readiness modules that we have. Uh, just give me 1 second. Let me stop my share and open this up.
Sure. Yes, Ken. Thank you.
Okay, so we are getting into, okay, this is how it looks, at least on the implementation side, or at least for a person to, when once they log in. Based on the roles, now I mentioned based on the roles, you get to see what you see here right on the landing page. Now, not everybody gets to see this. The person I've logged in as, if you can notice, is an HR specialist. So HR specialist is the person who has the administrative complete access over a lot of person records. These people have access to a lot of data, which not everybody else with any other roles have. Not even your line managers, not even even comp administrator, they do not have the access that the HR specialist has. So this role needs to be assigned very carefully. Okay, so when I talk about now, even before we get into what roles, now let's say a person needs to have an employee role, because they are an employee within the system. That's the basic role you have to give them, and you have to assign that role for them to access me. When I click under me, what I see is the employee's perspective of things, the employee self-service. When I talk about my team, this is how you manage your team. I have both an employee role and a manager. I'm a line manager too. That is why I'm getting access to this. Now, over and beyond a line manager, I'm also working in the HR department. That's why I get access to my client groups, because I have the role of HR specialist. Now, why do there need to be three different things? The way you navigate, it is going to look different. For example, I'll show you how it's going to look through each navigation. You'll understand what I meant by perspective. When I go through my client groups, it gives me access for everything. Let's say absences. This would be the easiest. When I go through absences, you can see that I have all the setup tasks too. Means these are the tasks that I go into to actually set up or configure the system to make it work the way we want it to work. Okay. You have eligibilities, you have everything here. But this section of person management, the HR can do transactions. These are all set up. This is the you have direct reports. It automatically shows your direct reports, or the HR can search for any person in the system. Maybe Mandy or Carly. I am not sure which one will open up. The system is a bit slow. Okay, we got Carly. So now you can see the HR, they can add an absence. They can see what type of plans they have, the balances, and they can also see if they have any agreements. This is how it's going to look for an HR. It's going to look the same for the manager and the employee, but from an HR perspective, you get to see everything for anybody. Okay, this is one. When I go through my client groups, considering that my role right now, I'm putting on the hat of an HR. Now I have to manage something for my team. Even when I'm an HR, I'm managing a team. At the end of the day, I'm an employee too. So I get to manage my team. So this is where you get to see my team absences. You can go in. Each one that I showed you is a separate tile, and within that you have a lot of things. So you do not get to search everybody here. If you are able to, that's only because you are also in the HR department, and those extra privileges are allowing you to search for people. But when you are a manager, you can only search for your direct and your indirect reports, but nobody beyond that. You will not be able to see anybody or everybody within the system. So this is how it comes up. This is my team. So when this is called the manager self-service. When we look at this, they have all the people. You can do multiple actions on them, not just absences. As a manager, as an administrator, administration, whatever needs, this can be restricted again. You don't need to give them access to everything. Let's say certain people do not want managers to actually cancel work relationship or do any cash disbursements or any change legal employers. These are again something that is HR task, so we don't want them to do this. We can hide all the actions and give them only the actions that you want them to perform. Okay, but all the list of actions would come up here. Absence balance, he can check your balance for this person, he can add absence, same thing, it will show up the same page, but you can do it only for your directs. It will only show for that person. It will show you the type of leaves that is available. On behalf of the employee, you can raise requests. Why is it taking time? Okay, when is your start date, when is your end date, what are the details, what is the balance that you have, you can edit the entries. And this is the basic. Only absence it needs to be entered is when is the start time, when is the end time. But the configurations will take care of how many minimum hours. Now you can allow them to take partial hours, or you can allow them to take a full day. That means if your work schedule says 8 hours, if you're applying for a leave, you have to take the complete 8 hours go, or half day 4 hours. You cannot take 2 hours, 2.5 hours. That is not allowed. So you can configure all that within the system. If it is for hourly, you would want to allow 2.5, because every hour counts for them. So that is when for hourly you will enable them to enter partial hours. All this is done in the configuration, but what you see in the UI is just whether they, what is the amount of days they are entering in. Then you can see within your team, if there are new people coming in with for the vacancies, how many candidates are there with offers, what are the requisitions that you've raised for your own team. This is linking to the uh, recruitment module. Again, both with offer, requisitions, vacancies are all related to the recruiting module. This is a vacancy. This is coming from the workforce planning module. You can click on this, create a requisition for it, and then ask the recruiter to take up, saying that I want someone for this position within my team. So this is how your team, not just this, we have your team's compensation, which is a separate tab. You can see what their salaries are. Like I said, you cannot see everybody's salaries. That's why a manager cannot have access to everybody except to their own team. And you can see it's their own team that they can see here. And you need this reason when you discuss your compensation, right? When you're talking about your next hike or next promotion, you need to see how close the person is within the salary ranges. Now this person is very close to the high end, and if this person had just 1 year experience in this particular job, then they might not give him 40-50% hike. They will ensure that this person lies within this range. So for that, you have salary ranges, the current salaries. Now, if you see, this person is also very close to the end. Most people are the high end. Or you see this person, now you can see if you need to give a hike, this person is going to hit the high range, but that hike will not be enough to retain this. Then you need to understand they are overperforming, or you need to understand this person needs a promotion to put them in the next salary range. So all this analysis a manager can do from here. Any questions?
No, that's very
Okay.
no.
And then when I talk about me, this is my perspective. As an employee, I might need to raise certain grievances. This is my web clock. If I'm an hourly, I'm going to punch in, punch out using this. This is your safety instance. This is where you're going to report your EHS. This is again extra volunteering opportunities. These are different. These are small things which shows which are not configured usually, but we hide these buttons. But if you want, you can volunteer for any of the organization in very huge organizations, like big consultings or big retail ones. They have volunteers. You can do this, what is this called, corporate uh, I forgot the term, where you have to give back to the society, right? You CSR, corporate social responsibility, the 2% of it. That's where you can volunteer to take up CSR activities. Okay. Then you have job openings. This is going to ignore this marketplace, opportunity marketplace. Job openings is where you see the internal job postings which are available for you to move in. Okay, this is coming from the recruiting module. Then you have benefits, your benefits, what benefits you're entitled to, or if you have a new dependent or a new life event that is happening, you need to go and add in your life event here, which then goes to the HR for approval, who will ask for validation. Now let's say you got married, that's a life event wherein it needs to trigger benefits for your spouse. Now you had a kid, that means the kid needs to be covered in the benefits. You go and add the details. The HR will reach out to you, ask you to provide a documentation. Maybe if the marriage, they ask for the marriage certificate, or for the kids, they ask for the birth certificate, so that they can have a proof that they are giving benefits, because that is, you know, what say, eligible. So once you get into that, they might reach out and then might approve, and then you can add in this. So any life events or any benefit that needs to go in from your perspective, you will need to raise it here. Learning, now whatever configured learning is within the system shows up for your self-service, where you have to go and complete the courses from this module. Okay. Now when we have career and performance, it's showing your career growth, what is all about your career. Again, each of these individually have a lot within it. I'm not going in because the screens are different, every field is different. It would need you understanding of that module to understand what I'm talking about within it. Time and absences, this is where you go in. I think if you're filling your timesheet, you navigate through this button to enter your timesheet. So that's the same thing here. Pay is your payroll. You go here to pull in your pay slips, the payroll module. Journeys are the enhanced onboarding style that we have. The regular onboarding gives you checklist, but this is the improvement over onboarding. It is no longer called onboarding, it is called a journey. Okay, this is where you go in to fill in all your pre-boarding or onboarding formalities. This is the directory that I was talking about, where you get to see, I'll show you this, you can understand. So you can search for any organization. You can see your public information, that is your person profile. You can add in information that you want to. Certain information will be mandatory, that will be there, but certain information that you want to add on, like your likes, dislikes, your hobbies, anything that enhances your profile that you would like somebody else to see, you can do that. Now, since I'm logged in as Curtis Feety, it is going to show the organization level for Curtis Feety, who he is reporting to. This is the flow of the organization, but your direct reports would be seen here. I can go up. I would see the people above me. So this is the org chart that is showing up your basic contact, what their designation is, and what their phone number is. So you have actually 586. You have 5 directs and 86 indirect reports. You have 6 direct and 6 in. You can drill down here. Those 6 direct reports are going to come up here. Okay, you can drill down and look at the organization chart. And then when you talk about my public information, it's going to talk about all what Curtis Fitty is about. Um, his contact information, any message. That's what I said. What you are, a brief description, a bio about me, then your favorite links if you have, your who's the manager, who are the representatives. You have, this is just the public information. Uh, Not everybody gets access to this, but the HR or managers who are given access can see what goals this person has set up, what skills and qualifications this person has. Usually, these are given to the project managers, the skills and qualifications part, because they would like to choose and pick based on the skills. Then you can see what is the performance rating, how this person is rated. Usually this is not exposed to anybody, it's considered completely a confidential HR content. But since this is a demo environment, uh, they have everything opened up so that, you know, when people actually demonstrate this to potential clients, they can see what is the full potential of this particular of this page or the software. You have family and emergency, you have all your information that can happen here. Okay, so any questions?
No, not right now. No, thank you.
Okay, so this is what I had. I wanted to give a brief overview of what it looks like and a brief demo on how we start in within the system.
Looking good.
It should be easier for you because you had EBS and you also have a technical experience. So you essentially know how Oracle functions. So it should be easy for you to pick up the module of your choice and go ahead with it. I would actually recommend you start with one basic module, maybe Core HCM, that is a mandate for uh, all beginners. Even we started out with learning Core HCM and then branched out into the other modules. Then you can pick up one other module of your choice in which you would like to specialize in, because core HCM is going to give you open your door, but um, if you have a specialization, that's going to give you more opportunities, more doors for you to open. That's all.
Okay.
Yep.
Get that?
Okay.
Like, so we do time and management now. So
Mhm,
I guess that's probably the one I'm most familiar with.
mhm.
There's probably so much of that I don't know.
Okay. Say I would say that even after 30 years of experience, no one could say they know a single module completely or they know Oracle very well. That would be, I would say, too arrogant on someone's part, because Oracle is ever changing day by day, day by day. Whatever you learn, it can still surprise you.
I agree.
Yeah. So I can only help you with the basic start setup, and how you grow is based on you. I can only start get you started on it, help you understand the foundations basic of what the system is capable of, but to test its boundaries you need to get your hands dirty.
That's fine with me.
Okay, that's all I had then. We have 5 minutes, which I'll get back to you. I think we can close the session for today.
All right, good. I don't know if you guys recorded it. I recorded this on my desktop, so I'll probably
Mhm.
watch it like several times.
Sure.
Our next class is Monday. Is that they're telling me?